1, 2, 3, 4. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on. Mike and John got it going on.
It's a hump day.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
I don't
All
know.
right, move it a little bit
Yeah,
so we
you
get
gotta-
center. Move the milk crate. There you go.
That center, do you think?
Oh, look at that.
No, that's
No,
not it. That's
a little to this way.
yeah,
There you
okay,
go.
Wait.
Here, I'll move the corner of my chair.
Yeah, this is fascinating for our podcast audience. What are they talking about?
Could you just edit it out?
Yeah. See, you need to move over more. That's okay.
Are you happy
Yeah.
now?
See, you're right. Because
Are you happy now? See, I got all this stuff I can't really...
It's getting better. Yeah, okay.
There we go. Never looked so good.
Right. Hey, it's Mike and John Got It Going On, brought to you by Firehouse Doors.
A couple of things coming up today. We're talking Boblo Boats.
Yeah, we are. Remember those?
I remember the Boblo Boat
I do too.
in Fago Town Club.
I think of Boblo Boats and I instantly think of an accordion.
Do you?
Yeah, because they always had a polka band. At least whenever I went there, it seemed like
Yeah.
there was a polka band somewhere on the.
Couldn't tell you how many times I've been to Boblo. It was probably at least once, because I think I got sick on the boat.
I went several times, probably 3 or 4 times that I can recall.
Boblo Boat. Wasn't there 3 of them?
There was at least 2, maybe 3. Yeah,
Then,
but we're going to talk to filmmaker Aaron Schillinger, who put together a documentary about the Boblo Boats and the history of Boblo Island. And there's going to be a special screening hosted by the Livingston County Diversity Council coming up in October. So we'll have details on that coming up.
Where has the Boblo Boat gone?
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah,
That's what I just said. We're going to find out.
it's a fairy tale
Yeah.
about
Get
a
it?
fairy.
It's a fairy.
Yeah.
F-E-R-R-Y. So clear that up.
F-E-R-R-Y.
Right.
All right.
Although it was,
Got it.
It was really a boat. I mean, think of a ferry.
Why do they call it a
Car
ferry boat?
I don't
they
know.
ferry
Because it ferries
down-
people across the. Yeah.
Yeah, like a...
You know, I was just in Put-in Bay this weekend.
What'd you put in the bay?
Well, you don't want to know. But
Isn't that where all the drunks hang out in Toledo?
well, kind of. Yeah. Lots of drunk golf carting going on.
Is
in
that
Put-in
what was
Bay.
going on
Yeah.
in Put-in Bay?
Right. I mean, there really was. But we took the ferry over, and there's 2. There's like the Jet Express, which is kind of like the one that you take to Mackinac Island.
Did you pay the ferryman?
We
don't
did.
pay
Yeah.
the ferryman
No,
until you get to the
he's
other
not going to
side.
take it if you don't pay him.
Well, you don't pay him till you get
We
to the
took
other
the low rent ferry, which is really for vehicles, and they let people on too. Yeah, you can get on too with the cars. And then just stand over here,
Yeah.
You're like,
Hope that
okay.
one's in park.
That's about it. And so you're kind of just in the way, really, of the cars and just let you on. And
Standing room only.
so on our way back, a guy came out on a motorcycle, and he just sat on his motorcycle for the. It's like a 10-15 minute trip.
Sure.
And we got about 5 minutes from shore, and
wanna
he
jump?
fires up the motorcycle. And I'm like, and he did it. He was like right in a crowd of people too, that where he was, and
That's
he
just showing off.
I know, and I'm like, and all these people are like, hey, thanks, appreciate it.
Had to be a Harley.
Yeah,
I
it
would
was.
imagine,
Oh
'cause
yeah,
they-
well
they
the
have that
sound,
distinct
you
sound.
know the sound. Anyway, that's my more recent ferry.
So we went from the ferry, the Boblo Boat, to Put-in Bay, and
Yeah.
a guy on a motorcycle.
I don't know. Is there a Put-in Bay documentary? I don't know.
Probably.
Actually, there is. When we were there, we went to the Historical Museum and watched this video of the history of Put-in Bay, in which apparently every building burned to the ground at various times over the course of they kept during this 20-minute documentary. They're like, and this beautiful hotel burned to the ground,
up in flames.
and this beautiful complex burned to the ground, and this beautiful house burned to the ground. I'm like,
Isn't it surrounded by water?
might want to get a fire department? Just a little clue.
All right, or no matches and gasoline. Just thinking.
So that's my documentary.
All right, coming up as well, we'll get to last night's Tuesday night trivia question, the 2-cent history lesson coming up. But first, a look at Gigo local news brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton.
All right, here's what's going on. A crash involving multiple semis closed US 23 for several hours on Tuesday. The Livingston County Sheriff's Office said deputies were dispatched to a multiple vehicle crash involving semi-tractor trailers and a passenger vehicle on southbound US 23 and Krause Road in Heartland Township just after 4:30 in the afternoon. Our preliminary investigation indicates traffic on southbound 23 had stopped due to congestion. A 60-year-old Taylor man was heading southbound in a 2007 Freightliner hauling automobile parts when he rear-ended a 2015 Dodge Caravan stopped in the roadway. The Freightliner semi-tractor pushed the Caravan off the roadway, then rear-ended an empty semi-tractor and trailer, forcing it into the rear of a fully loaded tractor-trailer. The 2007 Freightliner operator suffered serious injuries. He was taken to U of M Hospital in critical condition. The Dodge Caravan operator was also taken to the hospital, but listed in good condition. The other two drivers were not injured. The roadway was closed for about 6 hours during the investigation and extensive cleanup. Alcohol and speed do not appear to be factors. The crash, though, remains under investigation by the County Sheriff's Office Traffic Safety Division. Meanwhile, a Livingston County man is facing domestic violence charges after an incident last month in which authorities say he ran over his girlfriend with his truck. On Saturday, August 27th, at about 10 in the morning, Livingston County deputies were dispatched to the 2800 block of Cliveden Road in Marion Township for a personal injury accident. There, they determined that a 36-year-old man was driving his Dodge Ram truck when he ran over his 30-year-old girlfriend. The driver told deputies he was having a verbal argument with his girlfriend and attempted to drive off. While leaving, the female was hanging onto the side of the pickup truck and fell into the rear tires of the vehicle and was run over. The victim was taken by Livingston County EMS to Sparrow Hospital for her injuries, but is expected to recover. The 36-year-old man was lodged in the Livingston County Jail for reckless driving, causing serious injury and domestic violence. And an organization devoted to sheltering Livingston County's homeless population says it's facing the possibility of closing its doors. The Severe Weather Network Livingston County Board of Directors has unanimously voted to cease this upcoming winter's operations of its seasonal homeless shelter unless substantial additional financial and volunteer commitments are confirmed by October 31st. Diane Duncan is the group's co-chair and says they're making an urgent plea and final request for financial commitments, saying that they had significant and unique challenges the past 2 years operating during the pandemic, including a loss of volunteers and the resulting need to hire paid overnight security and a team of part-time coordinators to help stabilize their operation. That resulted in higher than expected operational costs. She says the current monthly operating budget with a paid team is $34,000. In order for the Severe Weather Center to be fully operational this upcoming winter season, Duncan says they need to secure a minimum of $200,000 by October 31st. Those interested in sharing their time, talent, or resources can find details on our website, mikeandjohnpodcast.com. And that's what's going on.
And news brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton. And, of course, that's where we are going to be Friday during the Smokin' Jazz and Barbecue Blues Festival. Did we get the answer? Okay, just check it.
I'll
just handle this.
One thing at a time.
You handle that.
One thing at a time, fella.
Overload. We'll be hanging out in front of Cooper and Binkley Jewelers during Smokin' Jazz and Barbecue Blues Festival. And we're going to give you a chance to win a yellow gold-filled aqua bead necklace with green amethyst pendant valued at $250. Also, yellow gold-filled aqua bead earrings with green amethyst drops valued over $130, designed by Tracy Arrington. So be sure to stop by the Mike and John Got It Going On booth right in front of Cooper and Binkley Jewelers between 5 and maybe 9 o'clock or so.
Right.
We'll be taking your registration. And then Monday on the show, right. Monday the 12th,
right,
we will draw the winner.
Right.
From Cooper and Binkley Jewelers.
Right. Okay.
All right. So we had some discussion and online on the podcast yesterday about Firehouse Doors, one of our sponsors, and the C.H.I. overhead doors.
Right.
Which
they are the
dealer here.
exclusive distributor of C.H.I. overhead doors in Livingston County. And we were like,
what is
you were the one that actually answered. Just an innocent question. What does C.H.I. stand for?
I always ask innocent questions.
Yeah. And they're, well.
Do you have an innocent answer?
I have an answer.
All right. The answer is?
We're pretty sure, we're getting this from the source, that it stands for Carriage House Industries.
There you go.
Apparently it was owned originally and operated by an Amish family who made Carriage House doors. So it was Carriage House Industries.
They weren't electric then.
That makes sense.
Probably hand crank carriage house.
Well, you just lift
make it.
Don't you remember? You just lift it up.
Yeah, lift it up. Back in the old days when I was the garage
Right,
door opener.
we used to be
garage front seat.
both the TV remote and the garage door opener.
Sure.
Hey, get out and open the door. Dad's sitting there with a cigarette in the car with the windows rolled up, no seatbelts on. Hey, get out and open the door, will ya?
You got the front seat. Front seat's in charge of the door. Come on.
Hey, change the channel, kid.
Rub my feet.
I gotta get out of this house.
That's how we grew up tough and strong.
That's right.
Back in the day.
Kids today.
Yeah, they didn't have to get up and turn
Bambies.
the knob. Oh my God.
Had a box to push. I remember when my grandpa got his, he was the first one that I knew that had a remote control.
Oh, and it was
one of
like
those with the
ka-chunk.
big buttons that ka-chunked. Yeah.
Ka-chunk.
Ka-chunk.
Well, that was the sound that it made.
Yeah.
You know, that was back in the good old days.
But even that required a little bit of exercise because you really had to push on those buttons.
Wow.
Them were the good old
Those
days.
tough times. We were in a lot better shape then because we had to push that button extra hard. All right. Where are we at?
I don't
Last
know.
night.
What are we doing? Where are we? What's going on?
First, we've been talking about old boats, then old garage doors made by the Amish. All right. So, our trivia question last night, and I thought this was a pretty interesting one. Studies found most women have this. On average, she's had it for about 13 years.
Okay.
Want to know what it is? Now, guys could have this too, but I didn't put that in the question.
Why not?
I don't know. Well, we'll discuss.
That's what the point of this is. I get it now.
So, a lot of things having to do with hair, whether it be a hair brush or a hair stylist or a blow dryer, which, by the way, Jennifer says, that being said, hers was 25 years old and just died. So, just bit the dust. So, if anybody has an extra hair dryer laying around, a blow dryer, Jennifer could use one. I haven't used a blow dryer since.
And it just died?
Just died, she said. Just bit the dust.
It just died in her arms tonight. Was she cutting her?
All right, let's move on.
Be that way.
Curling iron was one. Favorite frying pan, said Christy. I guess when you got the go-to one, if you're a good cook, you got that go-to frying pan. We have one that I don't know why we haven't thrown it away yet. It's not necessarily it's a pan, but it's warped a little, so it doesn't quite sit on the burner right, and it's like, why do we still have this?
Because
I don't want to, and we've got another one the same size.
There will come a moment, there'll come a time, and you'll be like, all right. Well, that's not where I was going. The guy was like, there'll be a time, it'll be like, all right, we got to I'm done with this, let it go. But there's a time where you work with it, just because you're used to it and you're lazy and you don't buy a new one. Until you do.
But we have another one the same size. It's just we haven't thrown it away yet.
Yeah. What the hell's wrong?
I got to put that on the to-do list for this weekend. Matter of fact, I'll order one in FedEx.
My wife got
it's on 23.
My wife got these copper.
The copper. She bought into the copper ones. Yeah.
Which you can't put in the dishwasher. You can't put them in the dishwasher. You can't put any standing water in them. It's copper. Oh. Like, what's the point of these things? I'm sorry. I just, if you can't put anything in the dishwasher, I don't want it.
Well, most frying pans you're not supposed to. Like a good old cast iron pan.
Well, cast iron.
Yeah, no, that's different. Those don't warp or anything.
Right. Okay.
And they hold the grease.
You want to know when I used a cast iron? It was last time I opened up my carriage house door to let my Amish buggy out.
Right, so no cast iron pan for you. Those are the ones you're.
You can't put water in those, and you can't put them in the washer. Oh my god,
it's copper.
And you have to re-season. Not the copper ones, but the cast iron ones. You have to season them.
Season the pan.
Which, if my understanding of seasoning a cast iron is that you have to burn something in it, I think. I don't know. And then it's great. I don't know. It's ridiculous. But I digress.
All right. Let's see.
Back to the point that we were talking about.
What were we talking about?
I forgot.
Jeff said a prom dress. 13 years.
Okay. Yeah.
Favorite hairstyle? A bra.
Hey now. So stupid.
Yeah, back when you were a teenager. A bra. Now that you're old and married,
Well,
yeah, Brock, can you get that out of the way?
Bra, oh, it's so exotic.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so special. Then you walk in the bathroom, you see your mom's bra hanging from you. You're like, that's not very exotic.
No, that's not.
That's not very exotic at all.
Yeah, the bra just turned unsexy. It's like thinking about baseball.
Never mind.
Brandon said a wart. Miriam said a crock pot.
Yeah.
Debbie said a vehicle. Now that's pretty good because we are keeping cars longer these days, and especially at the cost of cars.
Right. Now you said a hairstyle. Ann said favorite hairstylist.
Yeah, you got a good stylist. 13 years, and it's like okay,
Absolutely.
you're out of here, or they move.
A grudge.
A grudge.
Judge
I'll
says
take a
a
grudge.
grudge. Well, don't make Joyce mad.
Joy's still holding on to that grudge.
Yeah.
She's got another 2 years to go on that one. It's a 13-year grudge.
Put that on the calendar.
I think the closest was clothes that she hopes she'll fit back into someday.
Right.
And some people responded to that truth. Hey, yeah, those. Yeah.
Well, and that's not just a female thing though.
Keeping clothes that.
Yeah. There's a section where you say, "Oh, someday I'll." Yes.
I have some sweatshirts that I think are older than
Someday
my
I'll
clothes.
get back into these acid wash jeans.
But the actual answer was a favorite piece of clothing.
Right.
So I guess that could fall into that category, but it's like that's the go-to.
Right.
You know, you're going out special or it just fits you well, that kind of thing.
Right.
So
So
nobody really got it, but I guess that was the closest.
well, that's pretty good.
You'll give it that one?
Yeah.
You're,
I'll allow it.
You'll allow I'm not going to win anything but bragging.
I'm pretty good that way too. Hey, we're brought to you by Richter and Associates Property Management, one of the advertisers here on Mike and John Got It Going On. Licensed real estate brokers, rental property experts in Livingston, Genesee, and Oakland counties. 40 plus years in the business, located in downtown Howell. And you can go on their website with richterassociate.com. It's RICHTERASSOC.com, or call them 517-540-9560. Richter and Associates Property Management.
And if you or someone you know would like to be an advertiser on Mike and John Got It Going On, it's real easy. Yeah. Just reach out to us. You can find our information at mikeandjohnpodcast.com. We have a website.
Yeah, and you know, this is pretty noticeable. We're hoping though that soon this will be
noticeable.
very noticeable.
We are.
That's what
We're hoping for that?
That's what we're hoping.
All right. We're hoping, wishing.
Almost like you couldn't miss it. So
You sound like you have a secret.
I don't have any secrets. I have no secrets.
I got a secret to tell.
So yeah.
All right.
Now we talked earlier, of course, about C.H.I.
Yes.
overhead doors.
That's Carriage House.
Right. Carriage House Industries was what we were told by the experts.
Yes,
That's
and
what
the
CHI
experts
is.
being the Witt family.
That's true.
Proud owners of Firehouse Doors, who are also a sponsor here on Mike and John Got It Going On.
They are the sponsor.
The
They're the
original.
OG.
Yes.
For the past 24 years, they've been serving Livingston County residents, family-owned. They strive to treat each customer like family, and veteran-owned. Mike Witt, a proud U.S. Air Force veteran. Firehouse Doors is your one-stop shop for residential, commercial, and rolling steel overhead door needs. And for the past 21 years, they've been Livingston County's only authorized distributor for C.H.I. overhead doors. Call Firehouse Doors today, 810-599-7480.
You can discuss C.H.I. Doors or any
true.
of your residential needs with
Right.
Mike, or ask him about what it's like to fly in an airplane, being from the Air Force.
Do you
Was
think,
he
you think
top
those are the
gun?
only people that fly in airplanes?
No, I'm just saying.
I believe he was a firefighter in the Air Force.
In the Air Force,
I mean, he
yeah.
was he was a firefighter.
Thus Firehouse
Well,
Doors,
yeah,
John. Come
he,
on.
He had a lengthy career as a firefighter, and I think he ended up being a battalion chief.
Boy, you know a lot about
I
Mike.
do.
It's very nice that you know all that.
Well, yeah, but he
Now
was.
we all
But I
know.
think he began his firefighting career in the Air Force.
All right. Firehouse Doors.
By the way,
Call today.
they're the OG.
And we're not sure why they call it OG for original, because it could be OR.
It should be.
Org.
Yeah, or
Ridge.
no, maybe you don't want to say
Orridge.
that. Yeah. They're the org. No, just go OG. That makes sense now.
Yeah, it does.
We kind of sounded that out. Good for us.
We thought that out loud.
Still, we did.
You're welcome.
All right, Firehouse Doors, 810-599-7480.
Hey, a big event coming up in just a couple of weeks, September 17th. Denim and Diamonds for La Casa.
I don't know about you guys, but I came out here to party tonight in the country.
You're invited to a smoking hot party in the country, Saturday, September 17th at the Haggerty Beard and Ranch in Howell. Kick it up for a worthy cause at this fall fundraising event for La Casa Center. Sip on beer or wine and enjoy a sizzling dinner with sweet endings. Roll, spin, or place your bets in the Wild West Gambling Barn. Mosey up to the Silver Star Saloon for fine cigars, signature cocktails, and premium bourbons. Listen to live music all night long, featuring award-winning country artist Carrie Holmes. Gather round when the evening comes to a close and watch the spectacular fireworks finale. Reserve your tickets in advance at lacasacenter.org.
Yes. And so there you go. Did you like my voiceover on that one?
It was phenomenal.
Oh God, yes, it was
Phenomenal. Award winning.
Oh, you wait till the narrator awards.
Narrator of the year.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
You know, you
Notch another one nose on the
I
belt.
kind of think you should have did it more in a Morgan Freeman style.
You know?
Can you do a Morgan
No,
Freeman?
not really. I'm not even going to try. That's such a classic voice, but I can add it to all my other awards over here.
All right, the awards you have.
There you go.
All right. We're gonna give.
All those news awards over there.
You go, oh, I see the awards over there. Yes.
Right. Hey, we've got an event that we're going to be talking about coming up in October at the historic Howell Theater, and we're going to be talking with right now Aaron Schillinger. Aaron.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Aaron. We've been talking about the Boblo Boat already here on the podcast, and you've got this film you put together, documentary. Boblo Boat's a Detroit fairy tale, and as John said, it's going to be at the historic Howell Theater. So how'd you get involved with putting this all together?
Well, the film took me 7 years to make, but unfortunately, I never had the opportunity to go to Boblo Island when it was operational. And I was living in New York City at the time, and I was asked to do a fundraising video for a nonprofit who was trying to restore a boat. Of course, I didn't know it at the time. That was the Boblo Boat. And I went out there to film her, the SS Columbia, when she was in dry dock. And my first thought was, oh my gosh, like, why don't you just get a new boat?
Right. It was looking pretty rough. Yeah.
Well, didn't they sit in the bay for quite
They
some
sat
time?
on the river
Yeah.
for decades.
Yeah.
Yes, they did, because the boat stopped running in 91. And I started filming in 2015. So at that point, she had been through a lot. And it was really when I was introduced to a woman named Gloria Davis, who could communicate psychically with the Columbia, that I really was like, oh my gosh, I have to make this movie. She could hear the boat talk to her. And I had never met someone who had that type of relationship with an inanimate object and was just so passionate about saving that boat.
Now, did that strike you a little weird that this woman had this relationship psychically with the boat? I mean, you either believe in the psychic stuff or you don't, and to me, I would be like, okay.
I was somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, I was skeptical, but also, people can hear voices for all different reasons, and hers started when she had to have a mastectomy removed, and then she started picking up on people's thoughts and feelings.
Wow.
So when it comes to how I ultimately landed, I just felt like her advocacy and her heart was in the right place.
Now, in the trailer to the film, we see her, and she says she does not have does not have a psychic connection to the St. Clair.
Yeah.
Right.
Just to the
you're
Columbia.
absolutely right. She was picking up on some negative energy in the St. Clair. It's almost like these two sister steamboats are like, they have their own different personalities.
Right.
You know, Columbia was always viewed as by many, not just Gloria, but many people that I talked to, as the older, more regal steamboat. And the St. Clair is like the younger party girl who got into some trouble along the years.
Oh, the troublemaker.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You know how
You
those
always got one of those, you know.
The wayward child.
Now, also in the film, you talk to a gentleman who used to work on the Boblo Boat in the concession stand, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
That would be Kevin Mayer, who actually has, he calls it a future Boblo in his basement. It's essentially a couple dozen, maybe even in the hundreds of miniature rides that he's constructed that resemble Boblo Island.
Right.
But he calls it the future Boblo because it's bigger than Boblo ever was. So if Boblo were still around, it might look like that. He also has 2 of the rides in his backyard.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
There was a quick clip of him riding one of these rides.
It looked like a basket.
And I thought, God, is that in his backyard?
Yeah, that was the bug.
Okay.
The Boblo bug.
Right. Kind of like the Scrambler.
And he also has a swan boat.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So amazing. And then, of course, we've got the doctor.
He was one of the restoration.
Yeah. Who's this other main character in this?
Absolutely. Yeah. Dr. Ron Katu. He has been through a lot of struggles to restore this boat, including some personal medical problems, stage 4 bladder cancer and a brain tumor.
Wow.
To try to bring this boat back. He was struggling with those. And so even despite all that, he has not given up, including, some people might know there was a fire in 2018.
Right.
But even that has not stopped him. And so those are definitely the characters that we follow in the film, and we also go into a lot of the history. The fun, happy memories, but also some of the history people might not know about.
And there is some pretty deep history when it comes to Boblo, even when it comes to historically, landmark court decisions that really played a part in eventually desegregation in this country.
Absolutely, that's something we're trying to raise more awareness of, because Sarah Elizabeth Ray should really be known across the whole country. In 1945, she forced the integration of Boblo. They kicked her off the boat because she was black, and she went to the NAACP. The NAACP took up the case. It went up through, the local, the state, the Supreme Court. The NAACP kept winning along the way, and at the Supreme Court level, Thurgood Marshall argued the case, and he won. And the Boblo Excursion Company versus the people of the state of Michigan actually became a test case that the NAACP used in order to lead to Brown versus Board of Education years later.
Right, which eventually desegregated America's schools, and America's institutions.
It's kind of like the Rosa Parks of the Boblo Boat.
You could definitely say that.
Yeah. So an amazing history there, but I mean, it appears, and I have not yet seen the film. I've seen the trailer. I look forward to the film. But by the way, we should remind folks we're talking with Aaron Schillinger, filmmaker whose documentary Boblo Boats: A Detroit Fairy Tale will be showing at the Historic Hall Theater Thursday, October 6th at 7 p.m. And it's being hosted by the Livingston County Diversity Council, and there'll be a Q&A with you immediately following the film, and I'll be helping to lead the Q&A on that. And I'm looking forward to that. I think a lot of people, myself included, are going to have some questions that about because we all have these memories. We were talking about that before we got you on the phone, Aaron. Like you said, you never had an opportunity to go to Boblo. I mean, I went several times as a young boy. Experienced the boat ride and the amusement park, and of course completely had no knowledge of, why would I at age 9 or 10 have any
of all the other
awareness of
things
knowledge
behind the scene,
of the issues that were involved with Boblo and the boats, and so I have these wonderful memories of mine. But here I am. I'm a white kid from the suburbs who drives down to Detroit, hops on a boat, enjoys this park, comes back, gets in my car, and heads back to the suburbs. And yet there are so many other issues, as you mentioned, the desegregation issue, but there were other issues that were involved with Boblo and the boats as well, in terms of their relationship with the city of Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that...
Excellent! I passed!
Different explanations for why Boblo may have closed down.
Right.
And some of those have to do with notions that, you might hear some people out in the suburbs say, black people ruined the island. They ruined the boat. That is not true.
Right.
That's something that, there was some incidents on the boats involving gangs, but the press really overplayed that because they sensationalized it. And so that made people scared to go there as well. They were already scared to go to Detroit, and then they didn't want to go to Boblo anyway.
Right. And then there were some lawsuits that were involved with injuries that occurred there.
Yeah, one of the
and
roller coasters, if I'm not mistaken, kind of
Yeah.
went down. I'm not sure what year that happened, but...
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, anyway, there's a complicated history of this. I think that, and that's the point that I think that the movie's going to bringing out, and I'm looking forward to seeing it in depth. Again, Thursday, October 6th at the Historic Hall Theater. And it's a matter of perspective. I think certain people have just these very particular memories of this park and what it meant to them, and then where you stood, what your perspective was, that opinion may change. And yet the magic that Boblo represents, no matter what your background, no matter what your perspective is really, I think, kind of what it seems like is what's sort of at the core of this movie. It's a whimsical tale. I mean, in terms of being able to sort of try and tap into that positive aspect.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. The fun, happy memories are really at the core of this film because we made it for people who went to Boblo and got to experience that magic. And I also made it for people who never had the opportunity to go, like myself. So I would encourage people, if you have that connection to Boblo, you bring someone who never got the chance, because you both are going to learn a lot.
Yeah.
Now, Aaron, you said you were in New York. Did you grow up in Detroit and just never have or in the Detroit area?
Well, now I live in Ferndale, Michigan.
Okay.
And I'm originally from Virginia, and so I moved to New York City to go to film school. And so, yes, I've lived most of my life on the East Coast. I only ended up moving to Michigan during the making of the movie because I just fell in love with the city.
Right.
And I met an amazing woman who lives in Ferndale, and now she's my wife as of 4 months.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder at what point, like you said, you first got into this when you heard about this effort to restore the boat, and that's how you kind of originally came into the story. At what point did you go, oh, I got to make a film? Like, when you started meeting these characters, I mean, was there a point where you were like, wow, this is a great story? I mean, obviously there was. When was that point?
So I came out in 2015 to do we call it pre-production, which is essentially just research and some interviews. And I immediately just started feeling like, wow, this is not pre-production, this is production. Because I met the psychic who could talk to the boat.
Right.
I met Kevin Mayer, who had the miniature Boblo in his basement. And as you'll see in the film, has a very complicated emotional relationship with Boblo. And that's what you're looking for in a story. You want to find that emotional spine that's going to give it some stakes, And then when I found out that there were two sister steamboats, I didn't even know boats could be sisters. And that one was kind of haunted and had this troubled past, and that the other one was being whisked away to New York, where she's currently docked in Buffalo. It just felt like this was like an epic saga that you could also use to tell the parallel story of the rise and fall of Detroit, and now Detroit's comeback. So Detroit is having a resurgence as people are remembering the importance of this boat. So I just felt like you could tell all these stories at the same time.
Yeah, and we should mention, we're kind of bearing the lead here, this movie is narrated by the great Martha Reeves.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and
that must have been a great pickup on your part to be able to arrange that.
She does an amazing job as the voiceover artist. She's really at home herself in a booth. That's where she really comes alive. So we had a lot of fun. And we decided to write the narration for the film from the perspective of the Boblo Boat Columbia, to bring that magic that people remember of going to Boblo. So the film is a boat telling her own story about this generations long voyage to Boblo Island and the history and the people trying to save the boats.
Yeah, it's
where are the boats at now? I mean, you said one's in New York and the other one.
Yeah, so Columbia is docked in Buffalo, New York. She's been there since 2015, owned by the SS Columbia Project. And the St. Clair is owned by Dr. Ron Coutu and some other minor partners who you'll learn about in the movie. And she's docked at Riverside Marina, which is pretty close to the Rooster Tail. Yeah. Right there on the Detroit River. And she moved there in 2018.
Right. And the restoration effort's still underway.
Which one's coming along faster?
So, they're two completely different types of approaches. So, the doctor, Ron Coutu, who owns the St. Clair, is not beholden to a board. It's not a nonprofit. So, his brother-in-law, Steve Farage, is in charge of the restoration, and they're able to move quickly because they don't have to get approvals, but they don't have the support of grant funding the way that the Columbia Project does. Yeah. So they're kind of like a scrappy band of Detroiters working on the St. Clair. So they're moving faster, but they have also other setbacks to deal with, as you'll see in the movie.
Right. How appropriate that's the Detroit. That's the Detroit restoration. It kind of matches the city. Scrappy,
putting it together,
kind of getting it done. Sort of weaving in and out of
one step forward, 2 steps back. Yeah.
Yeah, and then Columbia Project. They're still trying to restore the boat and also raise the funds to do so. They're kind of doing a more accurate historical restoration. The St. Clair, they're more interested in dockside attraction that's going to be updated for the audience, including a elevator in the smokestack, to make it ADA compliant, something like that. Whereas the Columbia is doing a more traditional historic restoration, which is more costly and time consuming. And they also don't have the notoriety of being in Detroit because people in Buffalo are still learning about this boat.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm wondering how they attract the interest in Buffalo to a boat that was part of Detroit history and trying to raise the funds too. That's got to be a challenge too.
Yes, it is. That's something that they're struggling with since moving there. But Columbia is still on the National Register of Historic Places, like her sister St. Clair. So they are the 2 oldest surviving excursion passenger steamboats in America. So naturally they are important everywhere, right?
Yeah,
they just don't have that emotional connection that you get in the city.
Yeah.
Well, again, the movie Boblo Boats, a Detroit fairy tale, coming October 6th to the Historic Hall Theater, hosted by the Livingston Diversity Council. Tickets are just $10, and you can find out information and details on the Diversity Council's website. That's livingstondiversity.org. And Aaron Schillinger, thank you so much for joining us, and look forward to seeing you on October 6th in Howell.
Aaron, thanks so much.
Thank you. Tickets on sale right now.
Absolutely.
So I'll see you all at the Q&A.
All right, great.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Aaron.
Thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, what a fascinating story. Yeah. A lot of us in this area have had some type of tie to the Boblo boats, and I don't know which one I was on. I didn't even know they had names because I was so young.
I do remember. I remember there were 2. Yeah. I guess weren't there 3
I thought
at
there
one
were
point?
3.
I forgot, but yeah, I just.
Well, maybe you find out more in the movie, The Lost Sister That Ran Away. I don't know.
The one that the psychic reader can't quite communicate with. I just, I just have a feeling though, and I tried to get Aaron to come to that point. But there was a moment where you were like, "Oh, this is an interesting story," and then he said, "Oh, there's a psychic. Ooh, there's a guy who built something in his basement. Oh, there's a doctor who bought this boat, and his wife's going, what the hell are you doing? Hell yeah, I've got to make a movie about this." And as he said, that emotional connection is what I think makes this interesting. And we mentioned several times the trailer for Boblo Boats, a Detroit fairy tale, and so why don't we show that to you now, and that'll give you a better idea.
Yeah, check it out.
I want to tell you a story about an island between Detroit and Canada known as Boblo.
The Boblo experience was the boat ride there.
Getting on a boat, giving a man your little ticket, and you on a boat, you having fun, you partying.
My sister Claire and I would take families by the thousands for a summer of fun.
It wasn't no white, no black, it was just everybody together. And that's what made it the Boblo Boat.
nothing lasts forever.
I really wish we still had Boblo. It gives Detroiters something to do.
How can this be? How can we lose this, one of these great historic institutions?
There was a Supreme Court ruling about integration on the Boblo boat that really did start to change history in America.
You just can't get rid of this boat. Like, this is a part of history.
You know, so he comes home and say, remember the Boblo boat? I just bought one. I'm like, you bought what? You bought this? And I'm like, are you crazy?
My whole goal of coming down here to this hospital was to get this boat done. I've been here for 15 months. I haven't had a single day off.
I worked in the concession stand right across from the DJ booth. I've been building this and collecting it since 1989. A lot of people think I'm crazy. When you go on that ship, all your problems seem to go away, you know?
She does talk to me from time to time. But I've never had the St. Clair talk to me. And I'm not sure I would want that.
With ships, there's a lot of superstitions, bad omens.
If we can't find a spot, I may have no option except to scrap her.
You have to look at the fact that he's a surgeon.
Right.
He may have inherited a God complex.
If this was your classic bedtime story, a wizard might arrive from some faraway land, and poof, the curse would be lifted.
I don't see scrapping. I see an intervention.
You are her hope for a tomorrow.
But this isn't that kind of fairy tale.
One accident, one bad partner, and Boblo paid the price.
City after city after city lost their urban amusement parks.
We need Detroit fix first before you can go fix a boat.
I fell in love with that boat.
We jump off the ferry and run to the merry-go-round and bobble a while. Ferris wheels and popcorn meals would give every kid a big smile.
So, very cool. I just think that it looks like something that's going to be a lot of fun. And again, that's coming up Thursday, October 6th at the Historic Hall Theater. You can get all the details at livingstondiversity.org.
All right. Since we're talking historical stuff, it's time for today's 2-cent history lesson. Today's September 7th. Our history lesson brought to you by Drew Goebel and our friends at Oakland Insurance.
And Michigan-based Frankenmuth Insurance.
That's true. Thanks for getting that in there.
Well, yeah,
Let's be frank about this.
Let's be frank. I don't want to be frank.
Be John then.
Yeah.
Be John about
Let
this.
Drew be frank. Well,
there's a lot of characters.
We've already been through this.
Yes, we have.
Anyway, whether you're talking about your home, vehicles, business, or life, the unexpected happens. That's why we have insurance. But it's the quality of the service that you get with your insurance. You know, sometimes you see the commercials, you get the app on your phone, and oh, it's super easy, and yeah. And then when something happens, when you really need to have that service, when you need to have something taken care of, and then you are... please hold, and then you're waiting and listening to somebody.
No, you want to talk to an actual human being.
You want have somebody up front that's going to be able to help you and work with you, a partner in your insurance needs, and that's Drew Goebel at Oakland Insurance. Give him a call today, 248-647-2500.
All right, today, September 7th, is Google Commemoration Day.
Oh.
Google Commemoration Day. This is the day that Google was commemorated.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, sorry. Our new overlord and Master Google.
Mr. Google.
Yes, Mr. Google to you.
September 7th, 1996 is when Google was created.
And it wasn't it in a garage? I thought it was in a garage. I know Apple started in a garage.
Why don't you Google that?
Okay. Hey-o.
I know Apple, Apple started in a garage. I don't know if Google started in a garage. It might have been a basement, because some good things start in basements.
Well, or they end there.
Time will tell. It's also Grandma Moses Day.
Yeah.
You know what Grandma Moses is?
Grandma Moses?
Yeah. Grandma Moses.
She was an abolitionist.
It was Moses' grandma.
I see you really know. Let's see here. Google was officially launched in 1998 by Larry Page and Sergey Brin. It began as the Back Rub Project.
Why don't you back rub that? Wait a minute.
Well, I see.
What was going on in that garage? Maybe we should look at that.
I'm not quite sure what's going on.
It was created but launched 2 years later.
Yes.
So.
Anyway,
all right. It's also National Acorn Squash Day. Squash and acorn, if you like. Yeah. Or it's squash that looks like an acorn.
Better have some boots on.
It's National Beer Lovers Day. Beer lovers would say that's every day.
They're called alcoholics.
From one beer lover to another.
Yeah.
It's also a National Threatened Species Day.
Yeah.
And Salami Day.
Here I am contemplating the extinction of these wonderful species, and then it's Salami Day, and I forgot all about it.
Yeah,
now I just want salami.
Think it's salami. Hard salami or not so hard salami?
You know what I like? The kind of salami I like, the Cotto.
Oh, Cotto.
The Cotto salami.
It's not Cato. It's Cotto.
No, it's Cotto.
Cato.
Isn't that what it's called? Cotto?
Isn't it? Cotto. Cato. Cotto.
No, Cotto.
Oh, that's Cotto. Yeah, like it's cottage salami without the GE. So yeah, Salami Day.
Don't give me that. Yeah.
Cotto.
Yeah. It's by the way, Cotto, Cotto, is the Italian word for cooked. So
now you know. See, I learned a little bit extra in this.
What do I know?
Lesson.
I like it. I just like the word.
It's cooked salami.
Cotto.
Put that in your copper pan and cook that up. 1813, the character Uncle Sam was created to symbolize the United States. Later recreated by the great Carl Weathers as Apollo Creed.
That's true.
I want you, Rocky.
Right.
John Gruhl in 1915 patented the Raggedy Ann doll.
When did Raggedy Andy come along?
It was a few years later, the 80s, when they made a cartoon.
No, it was a little before.
Raggedy Ann and Andy. I'm not sure when Raggedy Andy came along. The first...
It was a different time.
It was kind of grunge.
It was kind of grunge. You're right, a little raggedy.
Look at a little raggedy there. That's a rough night. It's National Beer Lovers Day and all.
Andy, you look a little strung out. What were you doing last night, fella?
Raggedy Ann. She's a bad influence. If that doll could talk.
Okay. Well, we
1921.
Just ruined that beautiful memory.
Of Raggedy Ann?
Yeah, that's what we do.
1921, the first Miss America pageant was held in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Yeah, 1921.
My dad grew up in Atlantic City, and he used to set up the chairs for the pageant. I think he got like a quarter a chair, or maybe a dime a chair.
Wow, a dime a chair to set them up?
Yeah.
He was a rich man.
Yeah.
Back in the
So, probably got a penny. I don't know.
Atlantic City.
But
Long Boulevard.
It's
those pageants were
I think he would linger as a young youth.
A whippersnapper.
I'm just going to keep setting these chairs up, and I'll just wait in the wings.
I have some mirrors on the top of my shoes.
Okay. It's not like he's John Candy and Splash. Come on now.
Those contests were all rigged, just so you know. They were rigged elections, these Miss America pageants. 1966, the final episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show aired on CBS TV. That was by that time it was in color.
Was it?
I think so.
remember.
1966.
Okay.
I would imagine.
Dick Van Dyke tripped over his last ottoman.
Yeah. 1975, Steve Anderson, the great Steve Anderson, set a record for picking a guitar. He was 22 at the time, picked 114 hours, 7 minutes.
Wow.
He broke the old record by more than 4 hours. He didn't know any tunes, but he picked that guitar.
That's a lot of picking going on. Yeah.
He had to have calluses, don't you think? Or maybe he just let that hand say.
Well, that's strumming.
That's
picking is
oh yeah, you got to
the
pick.
actual so that's you would definitely have the calluses.
Do we still have Cougars pick here, by the way? Somewhere.
I thought we did.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah.
There it is.
In the middle of these chords.
We could air pick.
Okay. There it is.
It's on this day in 1984.
Cougars pick.
How about that? 1984.
She's like, oh, that's where that thing is.
American Express Company issued their first platinum charge card. Got a platinum American Express.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Platinum.
You don't leave home without that.
Platinum.
The great Carl Walden. Michael Nesmith in 1986 joined the original Monkees on stage for the first time on this day since the group disbanded. Now Mickey's the only one left.
Mm-hmm. I saw that reunion tour.
1986?
In 86, but I guess that was before Nesmith came back because it was in the summer. I remember seeing it at Pine Knob.
That was then. This is now the big hit.
Right.
And then I think they released Heart and Soul too.
Well,
Do I know a little too much?
You know a lot
Monkeys,
about
right?
the Reformed Monkeys.
Yeah. And finally, 2007 on this day, a new study revealed, sit down for this, that rock stars were twice as likely as the rest of us to die early.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Researchers said the problem was the industry should be labeled as a high-risk profession.
Okay.
Sign a waiver before you become a rock star.
You know what? And if you're a rock star,
you're going to need insurance.
You really are. Now, that policy might be a little tricky.
Sure.
You know, but if there's somebody that can work it out for you.
Let's be frank.
It's Drew Goebel at Oakland Insurance. Yeah. So you budding rock stars, give Drew a call. 248-647-2500.
Can insure your strumming hand.
Yeah. Or your picking hand.
Picking, fun strumming.
Yeah.
Or your vocal cords, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. It depends.
We'll talk to Drew.
Yeah, he'll know.
He's the guy.
Drew's the man. That's your 2-cent history lesson for this September 7th.
It's quite a history lesson.
I think we learned a lot. From salami to guitar picking and the great Mike Nesmith. How about that?
I always dug his hat.
I always hated the hat.
I like the hat.
The little ball on the top, no.
Yeah, that was cool. No, I thought it was cool.
No.
He had his own little sense of style.
Yeah.
You're not going there, huh?
No.
What are you, Peter Tork fan?
Oh, no. See, now Mickey was the coolest, but Davey got the ladies. Marcia Brady.
Now, why do you say Mickey was the coolest?
I thought Mickey was the coolest. Yeah.
He was the funniest. What about Edgar? The dummy.
Edgar.
Okay. We know a little bit too much about the monkeys.
If you know that the dummy in their apartment was named Edgar, you may have spent too much time watching Channel 50.
I think we did that as a trivia question at one point, and it just stuck in my mind. And I didn't watch it. I didn't watch it on Channel 50 at all the time.
Might have been Channel 20.
It probably was Channel 20.
That's your 2-cent history lesson, and we think you may have learned a thing or two.
And even if you didn't, too bad.
You know where I like to listen to my Monkeys cassette?
Oh, yeah.
In my car.
Oh, you do?
And if I needed some work done in my car, I would call our friends at Murphy's Family Auto.
Well, now Murphy's might be going, look, if your car still has a cassette player, there's only so much we can do for it.
They'd say that's a classic.
You're right. They would.
And they know how to work on it.
Right. They're open Saturdays 8 to 1. Tell them Mike and John sent you. You'll save 5% off your bill. Murphy's Family Auto. Your car knows. Go online, murphysfamilyauto.com.
Here we come.
No. Here we go.
All right.
I think it's about time. Don't you?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you have any post-show before we...
Do you want me to have post-show?
Well, I just wondered if you, before I hit the music.
Oh, you can hit the music, but we can't. We got to hit the music before we go to post-show.
Well, I know. I just wondered if we were going to prepare for the post-show.
Oh, prepare.
I mean, not that we haven't had an intricate staff meting prior to starting this. I mean,
the post-show.
I mean, that's clear.
Yes.
Anyone that watches knows that we are. Okay, I'll
just play the music.
Yeah, you know what? Cougar doesn't ever pick. You know what? I'm not going to play without my pick.
You know who had a great pick? Shirley on What's Happening had a great pick.
Well, it's different.
That fro pick in her hair, that was classic, man.
Keep it giggling with Mike and John. Tune in next time and giggle on.
Wasn't as cool as a Fonzie comb with the 2 thumbs on it. But
I don't know.
A Fonzie comb?
You know, I would have loved to have seen... Well, hold on. This will be our...
post show.
Okay, now we're post show. Jump into action. You know, I was going to say, that would have been a great crossover show. What's Happening and Happy Days. Now, different eras, and they had the time machine, but they could have done that. They had Mork from Ork. Mork could have come down, used his special powers to transport the gang from Happy Days either into the future to hang out with the gang from What's Happening, or transport the gang from What's Happening back into the past to hang out with the gang from Happy Days. I think that would have been a hell of a show.
Do you think it would have been better going back to the 50s or bringing the 50s into the 70s?
I think bringing the 50s into the 70s.
And so Fonzie goes into Ron's place, which would have been the Arnold's.
Was it Rod? The Darnold? Yeah, whatever. Raj?
I think it was Rod's. The
name of the restaurant? Oh, I don't remember that.
And then he could have hit the jukebox, and the Doobie Brothers would have started playing.
It's true. What is this? And then Rerun would have come out and said,
hey.
What do be you be?
So you got Rerun going, hey, and the Five's going, hey. So it would have been crazy. And then Little D causing trouble.
Oh my God. You see? Think about that. And then, Little D would have caused trouble. Then Mrs. C would have been like, now hold on, D.
And Laverne and Shirley would have come in and said, D, don't you vote-o do.
I think we've got an amazing... The network executives better get to work on this. I think we have an amazing
flashback.
Yeah.
Okay.
We really have to stop doing drugs.
Or start.
Either or.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, bye-bye.